Well, today's a pretty exciting day here at Castle Farms Homestead. Glad to have you back. What are we doing today?
We are finally starting on framing the utility shed.
Woohoo! Yes, that's pretty exciting. We're out here at our utility shed slab. Brady's on it, that's why I look so tall. Otherwise, there's a shrimp next to me.
I just stepped down and just...
See? But yeah, we're going to be framing the utility shed.
Yeah, that's it. We're framing the utility shed.
Let's show you what we're going to do. Very first wall we're doing here is going to be a 24-foot long wall. Our utility shed here is 14 by 24. We're going to start with this 24-foot back wall. That way it's not the front wall, and if we make mistakes, it won't show as much. So always start away and come to where it won't show first. That's a good tip for you to know. So your screw-ups won't show as much. What we're doing is we're laying out our top and bottom plates here. And the bottom plate is pressure treated so that it's going to be sitting on the concrete. So we want it to be able to last a long time. If it gets wet, don't want it to rot away easily. So, and then the top plate is just a regular 2x6. We're doing 2x6 walls. And what I've done is I laid this out. The bottom plate, it doesn't matter so much if the seam here is not on a stud. But when we put the top plate on, we can't have a seam sitting in between a stud and not having any support. So that top plate we want to have right on a stud. So what I've done is I've measured out here to find where the studs will be and mark those. So we'll cut this and then we'll put another one on, and it's coming down, and this is where the next one will be. I'll cut that. I'm cutting the end off of this one because it just is ugly. So I'm cutting the end off of that one, and then we'll cut this here, and this will be the end of our boards. So that's the compressor. And we'll be dealing with that all the time during this. So we're going to go ahead and cut these boards now and then lay it back out so that the bottom plate and the top plate are both side to side, right next to each other. What we want to do is we're going to mark, because we're using a little larger lumber for this, we got a good deal on it. So it's 3x6 lumber that we're using for the studs. And so we're going to do 24-inch on center instead of the typical 16-inch on center. And what we want to do is planning for the end of where this wall is going to be, because we're 24 feet to the edge. That's the total length of our building. We still want to account for the outside wall here. And so I want to account for the wall plus sheathing, plus we're doing a layer of 1-inch insulation all the way around it. So that's 5.5 inches for the studs, the wall, another 1/2 inch for the sheathing, and 1 inch for the insulation. So that's 7 inches total. So I want to account for that and take my measurements from 7 inches. Now when I do 24-inch on center, each one of these marks will be 24 inches from the edge. Does that make sense?
Totally.
If not, too bad. But that's what we're doing. So that's what we're going to do next. All the way down the wall, mark 24-inch on center, and go from there. Now that I've marked every 24 inches, I'm going to take my square and mark on both boards that mark. That way I know the stud location for each board on the top plate and the bottom plate. Now what we'll do is we'll leave the bottom plate where it's at, take the top plate, move it out to that end out there, and take our studs, those 3x6 studs, and lay them out at those marks all the way down the wall. So this is the basic layout. So nothing's perfect here right now. We just laid it out close to the marks. And now what we're going to do is just go through and nail each of these boards. Starting at the end down here, we'll line it up and nail it, but then each of these after that are going to be centered on the line. And we'll do that all the way down the bottom plate, all the way down the top plate, and we'll have our wall built. When you don't have any windows or doors, that's a pretty simple wall. That goes pretty fast. So I'm going to have Brady go ahead and start nailing these in here. So this end one, of course, like I said, we're just going to line that up straight on the end, just like that. And then we'll throw 3 nails in it to get it in place. All right. And then the next one, he'll line up to where the stud is centered in that line.
Now, when Clint originally said this, I thought he was going to make me pull out a measuring tape and measure the exact center of each one.
No, no, no.
Just like, oh my goodness. Like, why don't we just, I'm like, we could just eyeball this. Like, we can go, yeah, that's pretty center right there.
Pretty center.
Thank goodness that's what we're doing. I was looking at some work pants last night, checking this clearance sale that Dickies was running on some work pants, and just didn't have my size on the clearance.
No.
In any of the clearance ones. I was checking them like, oh, they just aren't going to go up to my size for these clearance ones. Awesome. Surely my size doesn't get bought enough that they're sold out, or they don't make enough of my size that they are sold out. But like,
oftentimes that is an advantage of being big and tall.
Yeah.
Is a lot of the sizes we wear, they don't get purchased, and so then you get them on clearance.
And then I was like, well, they got some good prices. Let me just check out their big and tall section. It's big or tall.
Yes, that is true. I found pants especially. So I want to wear a 36-inch length.
Yes.
In pant.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like a 42 in my waist. Well, as soon as you get to a 40, I think it is, all of a sudden they're only short pants. Like everybody with a bigger waist is short. I don't know. But you just can't find 36-inch length pants.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, I'll check like the 40-inch waist and put that in, and as soon as I put 40-inch waist, it's like no 36.
No 36. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, maybe they're just sold out on this and this one. I checked a couple other pants.
They just don't make it.
They just don't make it.
I know. That drives me nuts.
Come on.
I know. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put 2 pieces of sheathing on there. This is 7/16 inch OSB. And we're going to use this to help square it up and hold it square while we lift it and put it into place. We're going to line that up 7 inches away from the wall itself, top and bottom. We're going to line this up with the bottom and this edge with there, making the adjustments to the wall in order to get that square. Another way to check that is like we had before with the foundation and everything else, is measure diagonally, corner to corner, corner to corner. We can check that once we get these in place as well. We also want to be mindful of this bottom plate. This wall, top and bottom, could be shifted like in the middle towards this way or that way. So we want to make sure that's straight all the way down as well. So we're going to do that now, get these set, and then we'll be ready to lift the wall. We're going to have to get some help. So we've got our two pieces of sheathing on there to brace it while we lift it, just to help stabilize it as we're picking it up. We got some good friends to come over and help. Spencer and Rich, there you go. Thank you guys, appreciate it so much. And because this is going to be a monster of a wall. This 3x6 studs, we figured it's going to be altogether close to 500 pounds. Or 550, 550, 550 or so, something like that. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and lift that and get it in place. I'm kind of ticked off right now. We were just getting ready to start the second wall, and it dawned on me I forgot to put the foam barrier underneath the base plate, between the base plate and the concrete. So we've disconnected our supports. We luckily found Rich, who was at the neighbor's house close by, so I just ran over and grabbed him again. So we're going to drop the wall, put the foam in real quick, put it back up, plumb it. It won't take too long, but we'll get her done. All right, that was a pretty quick and easy fix. Got it all back in its place.
Yep, real easy.
It always ticks me off when I do stuff like that. Had it all planned out in my head, had it all there and everything, but just trying to be a little quick and forget about a step. Oh well, we all make mistakes, right?
Po buddies nerfing.
Some of us more than others. I did hear someone say, it's only a mistake if you don't fix it. So we fixed it, no mistake. Now we're doing just the same thing we did with the first wall, just a shorter version for the side wall.
Cord. You just flip the camera around.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck?
You want me to do it?
Um,
It's gonna feel like that there was a big jump and that we're now further along than we should be, and that is because all of the previous clips, all the clips between the previous clip and this next clip were super boring, and I cut all of them. Just know that we are now on like day 3 of this project, and we are putting up the third wall. That's going to have 2 windows and a door in it. And to do those, you have to have jack studs and cripple studs and headers and sills and everything. It mostly gets covered in these next few clips in a much more entertaining way than the previous ones were. And if you think these next clips are boring, you would have hated the ones I cut.
So you can see here now that we've got the window laid out, how this is going. So on the inside here, we've got our 2 jack studs that come up to the sill plate or bottom plate, I don't know, whatever you call it in the window. And again, jack studs here, and then a top plate up here. Then we'll have a cripple stud up here that goes along the line that is the existing, what would have been 24-inch on center studs, so that when we're nailing stuff off, it'll still have a 24-inch on center nailing point. And same thing within here, we'll have a cripple stud as well. So let's go ahead and nail that together. So one thing I'm noticing is that these nails, because these are 2.5-inch thick studs, the nails are not long enough to go all the way through and get good purchase on the other side. I think I'm going to get some screws and screw some of this in to make sure it's in well. Now we can see how the door is framed here with the king studs on the sides, the jack studs inside of that, the header at the top, and a cripple stud. Not worried about doing a conventional header. This is going to be just fine. It is a new day. By the time we got finished framing that and doing other things we had to do, the day was gone. We really wanted to get that wall up, but we didn't get it up, but that's okay. We're going to get it up here on this beautiful day instead of that little more yucky day yesterday. So beautiful sunny day today, and we got our friend Chris over here to help us lift the wall. Woo! Give it up for Chris. We like him better than Mark today. Because he's here. So let's get this wall lifted. We'll get foam underneath the baseboard, get it set in place, and that's actually all we're going to do today because we've been doing other stuff. So that's where we're at.